These are not even binding at all. So it's time to get back on the old Bronco Star. So I'm sitting on the thinking couch and I'm thinking, I need to give Paul Cox a call because this is the first time I've ever 4-linked anything. So I'm gonna phone a friend. Just give Paul a call.
What if he don't know?
He'll know. Paul's a lot smarter than me.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Working my life away here.
Well, that doesn't sound fun at all. So I have a question and I need an expert's opinion.
Oh, this sounds scary.
Working on this Bronco Star, we're gonna start putting the axles in. Doing the 4-link. Watched a bunch of YouTube videos and everything says 20 degrees on each link. Do you set them up level?
Yeah.
Okay.
I set them up at ride height and I want my bottom one's pretty much flat. Set your tires on it, figure out where you want it to set basically.
Dude, we don't have wheels.
You can set like jack stands under your axles.
Perfect. So if I have any more questions, which I'm sure I will.
Yeah, call me. People make it really more complicated than it is. If you just start welding stuff together, it's gonna work.
Okay. Well, we're gonna get to work then.
All right, good luck, man.
Thank you. All right, so now I have all my notes from the expert himself. Paul's given us a bunch of good information. Man, we were watching YouTube videos like crazy, trying to get all this math, and I didn't pass math in high school.
You had to have, or you wouldn't have graduated.
That's probably true. I probably did pass it.
I didn't.
So we're gonna get to work mocking these axles up. First things first, we're gonna do like Paul said and get it on jack stands. We're gonna kind of see where our tires will be. We'll set what we think we want ride height at, and we'll start working on the lower links. We've got all our grade 8 bolts that we're gonna use for final assembly, but we don't wanna sit here and put this together 10 or 20 times with a nylock nut and a grade 8 bolt. So we're gonna head to the hardware store here in a minute. We're gonna go get us a bunch of grade 5 bolts. 4.5. We buy in bulk. We need some nuts. Got it. All right, let's go.
Speaking of Hermansons, I still don't have a console table. Could you guys remind me?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I need a console table.
I do not know what you're talking about.
Sure do.
Mock-up bolts, real bolts.
Silver and gold.
We're using these awesome brackets and upper links and all of our links from Barnes 4-Wheel Drive. So if you guys want to head over to Barnes 4-Wheel Drive, use the code Layton at checkout for 10% off. This is some dang high quality stuff. Just waiting. Waiting.
Is that my ride height?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Okay, so this is a plumb bob. What it is essentially is just a weighted end with a center finder. Just got a point. It's held up by a string. We're gonna measure it off the back of this cab mount. So we're gonna determine where the center of the axle is gonna go, and we're gonna try to plumb bob it right there so we can sort of kind of get that axle in the right spot. Then we'll really measure it out, square it up to the frame, and then we'll probably put a pipe and weld it so that we can add our links without it moving. We're gonna take this around the frame. That seems way too far back though. I think what you need to do, let's move it back and let's roll some tires into place and kind of get an idea of what it's gonna look like with tires. Functionality doesn't matter when it comes to the Bronco Star. If it doesn't look cool, we don't want it.
That seems small now.
So what Hillbilly wants, the back of the tire at the very, very furthest back point. So when he backs up to something, the tire hits and not the bumper. Boop! And then the same with the front. If you go there, you're gonna have to cut all this. Well, no, we're bobbing it.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's what
Don't even
matters.
matter.
So we can put them right there, and nothing will hit.
So let's be realistic about this. So somewhere like right in that area. All right, so we kind of just threw these on. In all honesty, just kind of as a ha-ha. That would be stupid. Maybe we'll actually do it. But guess what? It's in the correct spot. We've got our tire basically centered where the axle's gonna go right there, and it sticks out about 1 inch past the rear. So it's literally right where we already want it. We're gonna be building the cross member here, you know, to make sure that all our upper links clear and everything like that. We did something right on accident. That's what we're gonna do is we're gonna base our measurement off of there. We're gonna get a center line mark off of the front tire, put it on the frame. We're gonna use that to kind of square up the axles and get our starting point. But you can kind of see the wheelbase now.
121.5.
All right, so we're looking at 121.5 inch wheelbase. I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's what it is. We'll raise it back up. We'll get this axle set on jack stands. We'll pull the tires to where we can put these tires and try to get it at ride height to where we can start building our lower links and getting this thing figured out.
I think Paul's FJ's longer wheelbase than this.
We can see right off, the top links are gonna hit this cross member. So that's gonna get cut out fully so we can get our top links in. But first, we're gonna start with the bottom links. We're gonna get those set, figure out how wide we want them, make sure there's 10.5 inches of separation between the links, make sure they're level. Sounds so easy in theory. So our goal is to get this rear axle fully set. I am going to cut some spacers and weld them between the frame and the axle so that we can get rid of the plumb bobs and get rid of that jack. But we don't want the axle to move at all. So that's why we're gonna weld it in place. And then once we get the upper and lower links in, then we'll take that out and we'll articulate it and we'll check it all and it'll be perfect. All right, so I'm gonna pull out my new cordless grinder that I got for Christmas. We're gonna have a lot of cutting to do and a lot of grinding to do. Got my bars that are a little different. All right, so I'm gonna get this plumb bob out of the way. We know we're set where we wanna be.
I thought you said you was going to tack it on there, not fully weld it on there.
I don't want it to come off.
Well, it ain't going to just come off now.
I wanted to make sure that once we release the jack, the pinion isn't gonna roll and move. Because we're equalizing the frame rails. So Hillbilly's gonna let the hoist down now, and it's gonna put pressure on that one, bring this one down to where the frame is equal. Very slow. Perfect. So now the frame is equal length away from our axle. All right, so in theory, everything around here is in theory. So in theory, this is not gonna move.
So do you think we can lift it up and the axle will stay in place?
No. It's gonna stay right here until it's got links on it.
Hey, don't touch it. You're gonna make it move.
Good, it's solid. So that rear end is exactly where it's gonna be for the rest of its life.
I wanted to sit higher than that. I ain't no lowrider. I ain't gonna climb no rocks.
So Paul told us you want 4 inches of up travel and 10 inches of down travel. So it's gonna go 10 inches down from there. So it's gonna get a 10-inch lift.
We'll sit that high at all times?
No, but you can fill it up with nitrogen. Perfect. All right, well, I'll call you on the next question. Thank you. It's a good thing to have a phone a friend option. All right, so what we have to do is determine the link separation. So we've got this square, and we know that this top piece is 2 inches. Well, our bolt center is 1.5 inches up, so we want 10.5 inches of separation. So we're gonna set our lower link bolt at 11 inches. So right here at 11 inches, we know that's gonna be 10.5 inches center to center of link separation. So the way we're gonna achieve that is by putting this angle finder on there. So 20.3 degrees is dead on 11 inches. All right, so now all we gotta do is move this link out, put it on our mark. We've come 5 inches off of this plate. That way, this isn't gonna interfere with any of our brakes, any of our bolts, to pull any of that apart. All right, so we're gonna go 5 inches off of the plate, and that's where our outer link is gonna sit. What we're gonna do though is we're gonna verify if we can put a deep socket and a ratchet and pull that nut off and still be able to get the ratchet off without interfering with this.
Yeah, that's not gonna give us much.
Nope. So we're just gonna move it out like 1 more inch, and that'll guarantee that we can get that nut off. This side's gonna be just fine. It's just this one right here. First thing, you always wanna scribble out your old line. I got my scribbles. There's our new one. So we're gonna tack that into place so we can get our lower length measurements. Nice. That is the first link mount I've ever welded in my life on a 4-link. I'm feeling good. Let's do it again.
I have a strong feeling it's not gonna be the last.
That's why we're practicing on the Bronco II.
At least 3 more to do.
Why 3?
Well, if we 4-wheel drive the limo,
Oh.
and then the JK needs it. Oh, you're only supposed to go 1 degree.
Shh, give me the welder.
Oh, it's at 20.7.
No.
That's 20.4.
Grind that, hurry. Take 27. Don't breathe. Ow, that burned my thumb.
You didn't even tack it!
Oh! All right, gloves.
You didn't even tack it.
How did we get so lucky on the last one? All right, redo number 12. This 20.4 identifies as 20.3. Just kidding, got it. Yes, yes, yes. So it's gonna be 43.25 of an inch, center to center. So now we've got to compensate for 4.25. So we need to take 8.5 inches off of this. Okay, let's put these in the chop saw. Let's cut them. Let's deburr them.
I won't get this cut.
Straight enough.
Now, I'll just get the other one cut.
All right, so I'm getting all these Johnny joints put together. Hillbilly's getting the links all cut and deburred. I've got to put the lock nut on. And then what I'm doing is I'm setting 1.75 inch thread out. That's just gonna give us some adjustment if we ever need it. Jam it up. All right, we have 1 more to do.
Okay, so there's the sharp edges in here. It's called burrs from cutting it. And the heim joint bung won't fit inside there because of that. So, I want to deburr it so that way it fits.
What was it?
43 1/4.
I want you to verify what that is. Right dead center. 43.25 on the dot. I'm putting 4 tacks on for now. Hillbilly brought it to my attention that we might have another issue we got to address. Our link mounts might need a little bit of separation, so we're gonna check that right now. Oh, this one goes right in. All right, so this one's fine. Now remember, these are our mock-up grade 5 bolts. And yes, I know they're 1/2 inch, and yes, I know that the bolts are 9/16. Oh, it wiggles in. Locked, loaded. So I'm gonna hurry and throw a little fatter tack on each side of the upper mount. So in order to make these adjustable, you got a right hand Johnny joint and a left hand Johnny joint. So that when you spin the center, it'll lengthen and shorten. So one side, the way you can identify the left hand thread is it's got a notch on the nut, and the other side doesn't. So Hillbilly's gonna hand me the side that doesn't have a notch, and we're gonna put it on the axle side.
Wait, where's the notch?
That line in the center.
Oh.
And then this side doesn't. No line. It's a smooth operator. Real clear. Barely. Oh look, there's Big Dinner. What's up, guys? All right, so we got the rears in. Now we're running into another issue. Our arm's in the way, so we're gonna get them adjusted. We got the lift arms out of the way. Now we're gonna get our links figured out. So he's gonna hurry and separate these so we can get them over, and then we're gonna mock it up, and then we're going to lunch. So you can see about where we're gonna land. Our gusset might just be a little bit in the way. We might have to cut a little of that off. Then we're just gonna make sure that both sides are equal.
Just like that. There's one. I'm just gonna do the other one. They're off just a little bit. They're just a hair too in. So the hinge joint won't slide in there. So instead of taking a hammer and trying to beat it, and I'm sticking it in the vise right here on the corner, so it's putting pressure on both sides, and it's gonna go. We should only have to go a little bit.
We might be notching the frame just a little bit. Man, that is like perfect. I really don't think we could have planned that any better. I wonder how unlevel these are. 0.3 of a degree. That is level enough. This side's 0.2. That's pretty dang good if you ask me. All right, so we've got these where we want them. We figured out that we're gonna have to trim about 1.5 inches off of this gusset plate to bring this link out. Just a tiny bit so that we can get in here a little bit better. But we're gonna head to lunch because we're starving, so it's coming along. We should have this rear end hopefully articulating by the end of the day. Just about got it cut out. Got back from lunch, we're all refreshed and ready to hit the workday. All right, so I've got the little piece of metal all cut out. So I'm gonna weld this back up, and then we're gonna get our link set. So that's the joys of doing custom stuff. Sometimes you gotta cut it back out and redo it. Cut it out again. Hillbilly gets to do this side. This is my side.
So what you're saying is we should have waited to put that gusset on until after.
Probably. You're probably right. So while Hillbilly's working on that other side, I'm gonna measure out our upper link. This is exactly 48 inches, and we need our upper link to be 24. So literally all we have to do is cut this upper link in half. We have 8.5 inches of Johnny joint, and that'll make these upper links 32.5 inches, which is exactly 75% of the lower links, so that the pinion angle stays right where it needs to be as it articulates. It's gonna be perfect, Hillbilly! All right, so I've got the links cut. We've got the bungs welded in on both upper links. So now we're gonna get the lower links in position and then work on the uppers. And these just look awesome. I'm excited.
Be even more excited once we're going on recovery in it.
We're gonna finally have something we get to use. So I spent about the last 45 minutes getting these center brackets correct. I've got them set at 20 degrees per side. I'm gonna burn these in real quick with 4 heavy tacks, and then we're gonna move on to the upper links. All right, so I've got those tacked. And we're gonna go back in and completely weld them all up. And then we've got these gussets, these rock slider protectors that'll go on the outside. Another thing that we've ran into is we've got a baby amount of clearance right here on the inside of both of these joints. We're gonna cut the outside tacks. We're gonna bend this and try to split the difference so that we've got it centered. But first, we're gonna start working on the upper links. I can see already this cross member is obviously gonna have to go. The cool thing about Barnes 4-wheel drive, they've made this a 20-degree offset mount. Check this out, I've got my degree finder on here, and it is already set at 20 degrees. So you can come all the way out here, and look at that. All we gotta do is put this on the top, and put it on the inside of the frame rail, and it's gonna set our 40 degrees on the upper triangulation. Okay, so this is gonna go in just like that. We're gonna take this upper cross member out. Hillbilly just showed me. The only thing holding it on is 1 rivet per side. So we're just gonna chop those rivets and pop it off.
Because when we done the side plating, you cut the rivets out of the way because we knew it was going to get rid of it anyways.
All right, get it out of there. will.
We'll have to wait.
All right, so we're gonna have to cut that in half. Got it! All right, the real moment of truth. We're gonna see where we're gonna put our stuff. All right, just as I suspected. The inside of the frame needs to be boxed another probably 6 inches in order to make this work. Let's take this out and check the other side. Literally the exact same thing. So we're gonna hurry and make a 6-inch piece, weld it in on both sides. As soon as we get these uppers in, we can cut those free and articulate it. One thing that we found out that we already know we're gonna have to do, but we're gonna do it after we get the upper links in. Right here, it's not quite bound, but it needs to be kicked. We're gonna have to shorten it on this side, and we're gonna suck it over. The joys. All right, so we've just about got our CAD drawings all ready. All right, so we've got both sides, a right hand and a left hand. My plasma table does a much nicer, cleaner job, but I don't have the time to program it and then try to cut it. So we're just gonna hand cut it, grind it up, and hurry and weld it in. We've got these extensions built, so I'm just getting them welded in so that we can get our upper mounts all welded to this boxing.
So Robby's been complaining about getting burned from sparks from welding. He's had this jacket still in the package for about a year.
Look at my arms. I just welded this in and it hurts. All right, so let's get this top link put in.
I'm ready.
It's a wee bit small on you.
Not at all.
Where'd you find my jacket?
You mean
You've
you're-
been holding out on me the whole time?
If you remember what you buy and what you get when you get it.
I don't remember what I ate for lunch. That was an hour ago.
I do. I know what I ate for lunch.
Nice. And I had protection the whole time. All right, now that I've got my new level of protection on, we're gonna get this upper link on. I don't think we're symmetrical. I don't think the brackets are too symmetrical, so we're gonna put this where we think it's gonna be good. We're gonna weld it in place. All right, so we've got this 4-link fully tacked into place. We think it's good. We know that we've got to move those mounts. We get that. But what we're gonna do now is go get our Badlands off-road jack. We're gonna put it in the middle. We're gonna mess with this axle. Just kind of move it, because we don't have the correct wheels, so we can't put our wheels and tires on and do that, but we don't have anything fender-wise to interfere with right now, so I think we should be okay. We're gonna cut our bars out, release it, and then when we're done, we'll weld them back in.
Seems like a lot of work.
It's all part of the plan.
Would you rather just weld it and hope for the best?
That's what we do in derby cars world.
It looks pretty good. You
Okay.
are.
So now, let's go down with the lift, because 4 more inches down, is like fully bottomed out. I'm just gonna go all the way down and see what it does. 7 degrees, but it's not gonna go that far. So 14.5 inches from the bottom of the frame, and we're 15 inches there, so it's never gonna go past that.
You'll never ride that high?
That's so high.
That's like full tilt and boogie. Okay, hold on. Hold it there. This is super cool. Look at that. And remember, you're gonna have tires on this. We're at 16 inches. That's 100% as far as it will ever go. Let's see if the pinion angle changed. Pinion moved 1 degree. It's at 88.9 degrees. We're not bound up on this bracket. I almost say we leave it. This bracket that we thought we were gonna bind on, it's not bound up.
It's real close, but I can see daylight.
I can see daylight through it, and we're as far as this will ever be. At 16 inches, so we were gonna have 10 inches to travel down, and that was a 6-inch piece. We're more than enough. We are hitting a little bit right here on the frame, so once we get wheels and tires, we're probably gonna do a frame notch in here, just to make sure, but honestly, I don't think it's gonna be an issue. These are not even binding at all. We did our first 4-link. Look who showed up.
Say hi.
Because it's after 5. Can you say hi, sweetheart?
Hi. This 4 links look so good.
We've got it articulated all the way one way, and we noticed that we might have to notch the frame, but we're gonna have to wait until we have wheels and tires on it. So now we're gonna do it the other way, and we're gonna watch all our stuff. What is this?
Someone said surprise.
Somebody sent a surprise. What in the heck is this?
That's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
It's a birthday card.
Somebody sent him a big one.
Happy birthday dinner. You're not old, you're just classic vintage. Best wishes, Andrew and Ann. This is the biggest birthday card I've ever seen in my whole life.
Yeah, we
Biggest picture of dinner I've ever seen in my whole life.
Here, dinner.
Your twin.
Hey, will you give me one for my birthday?
Of course I will, sweetie. Isn't that awesome? Thank you for the ginormous birthday card. That's awesome. I'm slightly jealous.
I think Robby wants one for his birthday.
All right, so I'm gonna switch sides. We're gonna do exactly what we did again. We're gonna go all the way up. We're gonna see if we can get 16 inches here. Guess how many?
16.
17. All right, so we at least got 16, possibly 17 inches, and barely touching the frame. But you're not even bottomed out, are you? Okay, yeah, we are bottoming out on the frame. Like we already said, we may have to notch our frame a little bit. Other than that, this looks so awesome. I'm excited. As always, we appreciate you. If you enjoyed this video, go check out this one.